If you want to learn the process to embodying and empowering the feminine spirit, then check out the book, Healing the Feminine Energy and the Wounds of Your Inner Child. What's up, guys? So in this video, we actually have a special guest on the channel. Your name is?
Iman.
And Iman she's a femininity coach and an energy healer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so, we speak about feminine energy and masculine energy on the channel. One of the criticisms that people sometimes say is, well, it's better, Reemus, if, we're hearing about feminine energy coming from a woman. So here you guys have a woman. So what we're going to speak about today is 3 things that you have to know when it comes to, wanting to embody or increase your feminine energy, right? So can I ask you, right, what is, let's say, we'll speak about 3 things maybe, or see, whatever comes to mind. The first thing that comes to mind for me when it comes to women embodying their feminine energy is you first need to heal it, So is that something that comes up for you, or what comes to mind?
I think that's a really important aspect, Reemus, so thank you for bringing that to the fore. I think before you can even go on the journey of healing your feminine energy, you have to acknowledge its power and its existence. And this is something I know that you talk about in your book a lot, that your femininity is your power. And so just recognizing that is a stepping stone, or is the foundation to helping heal your feminine energy. And it's not necessarily that feminine energy has been broken inside of you, but it's more that it's sometimes been repressed or suppressed through trauma, through societal conditioning. And it's really important for us to, in our acknowledgement of it, begin the journey to heal it. And it's really powerful to be able to recognize the power of our femininity, the value that it brings in today's society, and the value that we carry as women just inherently by being women.
Yeah, I like that, because a lot of, we see the narrative being said, women themselves look at feminine energy or femininity as a weakness. Like I did a video before talking about how to be in your feminine energy. It was on TikTok, and a girl actually replied saying, I don't want to be feminine, that's weak. So people attribute it with literal weakness, and you'll never truly be in your feminine energy or any state if you think it's a bad thing. So you need to be able to reframe how you come at it and how you perceive it, So I think that's definitely very important. So let's say the second thing that a woman has to know about embodying femininity, right? What would come to mind for you?
For me, safety is really important. And that provides the vessel for the actual embodiment of the feminine energy. If we look at the qualities of femininity and feminine energy in terms of receptiveness, nurturing, vulnerability, and our healing qualities too, our bodies can create the vessel for us to embody those feminine qualities by providing safety within them first. So recognizing safety within our bodies, recognizing what safety means for us emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, allows for our bodies to become the vessel for the embodiment of the divine feminine qualities.
Yeah, and a lot of women simply place the responsibility of feeling safe, internally, solely on just the guy. And if you do that, you might be waiting a very long time for that guy to come about, because he might never, like masculine men are drawn to feminine women. So if you're never feminine at all and you say, well, I'll only be feminine when a guy comes, because you don't feel safe within yourself, not only is that very dependent, and a lot of women want to be independent, so it's interesting, but you're dependent on a guy or someone else, doesn't really matter, just in an external source to be in the energy that you want to be. Now, of course, if you're around the right type of guy in the right environment, of course that brings out your feminine energy even more. But the first place it has to start is within yourself. Like, you have to be able to cultivate some level of safety and security within yourself to the best of your ability, you know? Do you agree with that? Or?
Absolutely. Yeah, it all starts from within, and providing that space of safety within yourself first is what actually goes on to create safety all around you, and it gives you this standard of what you can expect from others too when you're looking at safety.
Exactly. Like, if you have high standards for yourself, then of course naturally it makes sense that if you're dealing with people, it could even be friends too, you know, doesn't even just have to be a partner or a guy, but just with everyone, you're conscious of, hey, does the reality, external reality, meet the standards of my internal reality? But I could also say the third thing we could talk about that helps with feminine energy is the right environment. And I think you could say boundaries come into play with that. Does anything come up for you?
That was actually going to be my third tip.
Really?
Because I think it goes really well with safety and talking about how we create safety for ourselves. And that does come through this concept of boundaries. And it's something that comes up with a lot of clients who have had trouble being in their feminine energy and embodying their feminine energy. And one of the first things that we'll often talk about is boundaries, and how they can use boundaries, cultivate them, understand what they mean, and then put them in place to be able to protect their feminine energy and to be able to give them that space of safety for them to explore what feminine energy looks like and what qualities they want to tap into.
Yeah. So what's an example of how a girl could exercise boundaries in her life?
One of the biggest examples that I've seen come up is honoring your no's and honoring your yeses. And this literally means just to kind of be true to what you're feeling within, to be true to what your spirit is guiding you towards. So if you don't feel like doing something, you can honor that no and put that no in place, and then respect your own boundary by going through and following through with that no. If you really feel to do something, because it works equally on the opposite side, if you really feel to do something and you know it's a soul felt yes, then you honor that and you go through with that. But I've mostly seen it with, and you know, this is closely linked with self-love and people-pleasing aspect that we often find on our journeys. And that's why sometimes it can be difficult for women to say no or to put boundaries in place.
Yeah. And one thing that's important to know is the feminine is generally more agreeable, you know, because it's a yielding state. It is that soft flow and all of that. And that's great in many aspects. You could argue many men need to have that at some points, or women who, let's say they're in their wounded feminine energy and they rely on a toxic expression of masculine energy. They need to embody that more. You know, we all need to. And that's a part of knowing that all of these traits can be empowering. It's just how we use it. You know, are we using it in the right way and so on? But I think a very necessary part to consider is that, let's say when it comes to honoring, would you say honoring your no's and knowing your yeses, is that will take time to implement. You know, if you're used to just, let's say people want to do something with you, and even if you're not feeling it, you generally say yes, that's a habit. So you're gonna have to, you know, take time to train yourself to be comfortable saying no, you know?
I think that's really important. And I think it's really important to sort of experiment and explore and perhaps try those things with people that you feel would be able to receive you and would be able to honor you in your no, and then sort of branch out to people who you might have had had experience sort of saying no to and it's not been received well. So you can start small and then sort of work your way to more difficult or more delicate, is how I prefer to refer to it, more delicate conversations.
Makes sense. It's all a journey. And even with me, because one reason why I disagree that, you know, as a man, you can't talk about the feminine energy, or men or women speaking about the masculine energy, is because we have both of these energies within us. So if you're a guy who's the typical nice guy, you actually have a lot of agreeableness to you as well. So even for me, when I was younger, I had to practice knowing when I wanted to do something, knowing when I didn't want to do something. And it took time for me to just become comfortable saying, actually, I don't feel like doing this, or I don't agree with this, or I don't agree that I should do this thing in that way. I just say it how it is, you know? So everything takes time. You have to build habits. It might be more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It could be 2 months, could even be a year. But as long as you stick at these things, for sure you can expect that you will grow in the energy that you want. And when it comes to this video, where we're talking about feminine energy for women, just know that if you stick to the process, you will become that woman that you've always dreamt to be, you know? Is there anything else you want to say on that?
Be gentle with yourself in that process, I think, is the message.
Because
it is a journey, and sometimes we can come down hard on ourselves if we feel like we're not progressing in the way that we want to be, or if we're not at a particular stage, at a particular time. So be gentle and kind to yourself during that process is the message that I'd leave with.
Okay, perfect. All right, so, you know, we're gonna wrap this up. Before we go, you know, I'll just shout out the book, Healing the Feminine Energy, as well, and you can show that one too, where we speak about some of this stuff, nurturing your feminine energy. But if you want a free copy, you know, you can wait, or I don't know, paydays next week or something, but you want something to read now, me and Iman have written a book talking about 5 things you need to know about femininity, and that's a free ebook. So if you just go to the description, you can just check that out. But until next time, peace. More than any other time in human history, a restoration, a repair, a respect for the feminine energy is needed. And if you want to check out the process to healing the feminine energy, then you can check out the book, which is available digitally or in print form.